Welcome. This is the installation guide for our project. So first you open terminal and then you write sudo apt install git. This is to install git on your system. Afterwards you write sudo apt install python 3-pip. After installing Python, you write sudo apt install python 3-tk. And after that is done, you head over to GitHub on your desired browser and log in. Download our code in a zip file and save it for Ubuntu OS. Under the download section, you can unzip your file over here. Just extract here. And then I'll copy and paste this file to the desktop so that I can work on it later on. While this file is on the desktop, I can go over to the properties and look at where the file path is at. And I'll make use of this file path to change directory so that I can do further installations based on the existing files within the GitHub. So once I change directory, I write pip3 install r requirements.txt. Alright, on the new terminal, just to make things a bit nicer, write pip3 install -user -upgrade GitHub, and the URL you see over here, I will display the URL on the screen in a text form so that you can follow along if the wordings are too small. This step is to ensure that you have the latest Twint file within your system. Alright, so afterwards you will want to launch your setup py file so that you can do the replacement files and you're done. So I'm going to show you how to run our project. First, you go to the installation location. So I have installed it on desktop. Open it in terminal. Once I have opened it in terminal, you just need to type python 3 project ui.py. This is to run our application. You'll be greeted with our GUI, and this GUI will allow us to interact with the pre-coded APIs that we have included inside so that we can scrape and analyze the tweets and display the result as the finalized version. So over here you can see the start date and the end date selection of the scraping. So basically start date just indicates when you want the scraping to start, and the end date just indicates when you want the scrape to end. So you just need to do a simple selection over here, and I will show you how to do it. I'll just simply pick something like maybe around September 1st all the way until today. Output file location will be basically the file output of where you want the raw data that is scraped from Twitter itself to store in. You just simply press browse location and hit OK once you're comfortable. Do remember that when choosing your file path, you will need to name your file, and you will have to indicate that the file type is a .csv format. In the example that the person forgets to name their file and they press scrape tweets, an error will pop up saying that file needs to end with a .csv, indicating that you need to name your CSV file itself. So naming it, let's say naming it raw tweets.csv. Below here you can see is a checkbox for enable multiprocessing. Basically, in short, multiprocessing allows you to use multiple cores within your CPU to speed up processing in general. If your Ubuntu doesn't have multiple pre-assigned cores to it, it's best to leave this option unchecked as it may cause issues later on. But in my scenario, I have assigned a few, so I can enable multiprocessing to it to speed up the process. and I'll just press script and wait. Do take note that while waiting for the script to happen, some things might occur like the GUI fading in and out and your background screen turning black. This is normal, and just wait out until the whole scripting process is done. Alright, so as you can see, the entire scripting process took around 1 minute and 10 seconds, which is not really long, but you can move on from here. Once the scraping has been done, we can see reflected on the desktop page because I have selected the desktop file path. So let's open it up to see what it has. So as you can see, it stores username in one column, and afterwards it stores the tweets itself in the raw format. In the next column, the dates that are assigned to the tweet that the tweet was made in, the hashtags that were given to the tweet itself if the tweet had any, and that's about it. So next we will go on to sort and analyze, in which we'll be asked to do an input file. Same thing as just now. We'll choose the raw tweets.csv to analyze. Open. And then after that, our output file location. We do not want the same name for the tweet itself, as by doing this, we will overwrite the raw data. And by overwriting the raw data, we will not be able to view the raw data again in its original state. So to avoid this, we change the file name. So we browse file, and then let's put it to something like final results.csv. But in a scenario that you forget to type CSV again, and you click analyze, you'll still be greeted with the same error file as you can see in the first step. So be rest assured that you'll be inputting the correct thing. To speed up processing, we'll just hit enable multiprocessing here and click analyze. By clicking the analysis button, you enable two functions to occur. The first function being the emotion assignment, and the second function being the topic modeling. The emotion assignment depends on the text-to-emotion API. This text-to-emotion API uses an existing library and assigns the emotion accordingly through the sanitized tweets. The topic modeling-wise, it uses this API called GenSim. GenSim is a library that utilizes machine learning techniques to perform topic modeling based on the sanitized tweets previously. Now we will take a look at the analyzed information. Opening it up, we will see that we are greeted with this huge Excel, and this Excel will contain all sorts of information that will be useful for the topic modeling later on. Over here at this column will store the usernames, and then over here at this column will store the raw tweets. The one towards the right will store all the sanitized version of the raw tweets, the dates, the week counter, afterwards the emotions assigned to each and every other tweet, as well as the topic from the topic modeling API that we have ran just now. For the data representation tab, you just need to simply put in the input file. So the input file will be just now our final results.csv. Click open, and then we are able to do all these different functions. The first function I'll go through is the overall emotion pie chart. So the pie chart will just consist of all the emotions along with the percentages of what they represent throughout the whole data analyzed. The legend over here will be helpful. Afterwards will be the overall top 3 mentioned topics. These top 3 mentioned topics is throughout the entire duration that we have specified during the analysis. So it goes accordingly from top to bottom. Next will be the weekly top 3 topics mentioned. Over here, the difference between this and the previous one is that you are able to choose between the individual weeks and see what they have for the topics. So for example, week 1, we have this as the main topic with a frequency of 7. And if we head over to week 7, we can see that there's a sudden spike in tweets, and the topic of this is the highest with a frequency count of 60. By viewing the bar graph, we will be able to see the weekly emotion status. So it will return the frequency and the emotion according to the week. So week 2, you'll see that there are these emotions according to this frequency, and then week 8, it will refresh to another frequency range, and so forth. After that will be line. Line graph, basically the main use is to find patterns within the emotion itself across the weeks. So happy will have this pattern throughout the weeks. Sad will have this pattern throughout the weeks. As you can see, different emotions have different patterns, and line graph is a really useful tool to view all of them. That concludes the end of the demonstration. Thank you.